So on the campus of Harvard University, roughly 100 students rallied last month to abolish ICE. In covering the story, the student newspaper, the Harvard Crimson, followed standard journalistic protocol. They reached out to ICE for comment on that. And that simple act triggered an intense backlash on the campus, with calls to boycott the Harvard Crimson, as well as a petition that was signed by hundreds of students that reads, "We are extremely disappointed in the cultural insensitivity displayed by the Crimson's policy to reach out to ICE in this political climate. A request for comment is virtually the same as tipping them off," they said. Joining me now, Harvard student and campus reform correspondent DJ Lacy. So, DJ, does it surprise you?
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
It did surprise me to some extent. You know, I saw the article about I read the article about the protest. I remember the protest. And then, you know, I was just kind of sort of confused when I saw this call to boycott the Crimson. In that, you know, the Crimson is a student publication on campus with the stated goal of informing students of what's going on. And that includes, you know, going out and getting all viewpoints on stories. And, you know, they were simply adhering to standards of journalistic integrity when they were going out and contacting a government agency like ICE to make sure that all perspectives are put into this story. So I find it, you know, frankly, problematic that these activists on campus think that they are able to, you know, police who the Crimson is able to contact for stories.
Yeah, I mean, it would appear that if you're studying journalism and you're writing pieces for the Harvard Crimson, you know, some of the basics of your journalism class would be that you would want to call both sides of the story and get them to weigh in. I mean, is that a notion that, you know, is anathema to the people who are speaking out and suggesting that you wouldn't even call the other side?
Absolutely. I mean, I agree. I mean, the Harvard Crimson is a publication that is, you know, training the next generation of journalists. So, of course, they're going to have their journalists adhering to principles of journalistic integrity. And that includes anyone who is mentioned in the story has the right to issue a comment. And simply by reaching out to ICE, that's what they were doing. So I support the Crimson and everything that they've done.
Let's put this survey up. This is from the Campaign for Free Speech survey. It says that of the folks that they surveyed, and they were millennials in the survey, you can see what the results are up here. 51% believe that the First Amendment is outdated and that it should be rewritten. 48% say that hate speech should be illegal, and 80% say that they don't know what the First Amendment protects.
Well, I just frankly find those results, you know, very alarming. This is an issue that I've covered with the Leadership Institute and campus reform. A great example was just last night at the University of Pennsylvania, another elite Ivy League institution. The former director of ICE was scheduled to speak, and unfortunately, student activists there shut down his speech completely. So I find it alarming that, you know, you have students who are willing to go against fundamental American values of freedom of speech, freedom of the press in Harvard's case. And I think, you know, it's our job as a conservative on campus, as, you know, a freedom-loving American, to stand up for these values of free speech and of freedom of the press. And I think, you know, millennials really need to, you know, learn these fundamental values. And college campuses are not doing a very good job of holding up these principles.
Do you feel like, I got to go in a second, but do you think this is getting any traction? Because I know you've been behind this movement just to sort of get people to look at both sides on campuses. Do you think that there's a little bit of a movement in that direction that is coming back to just at least be part of the equation?
Yeah, well, I really hope so. You know, this is an issue that I care deeply about. You know, like I said, as an American, as a conservative, I care deeply about this. Yeah. And, you know, I think it's on all students' jobs to ensure that, you know, no matter what college campus they're on, no matter where they are, that they should be open to hearing all viewpoints and making sure that, you know, all perspectives are heard.
Those are the
you know,
principles that I would
further
imagine Harvard was founded on. I got to